Бабо, за какво са ти тия сушени сливи, бе? Някакъв десерт ли ще правиш?
Тос пак, яхния с сини сливи ще готвя.
Ама как така? Яхниите ни трябва ли да са солени по принцип? Ти да не си се объркала нещо?
Ами, келеш, идвай да се учиш тука, ще ти откъснам с поръжените сливи.
Greetings, comrades! Today I'll be showing you a stew which mixes very well meat and fruit in it. Not only fancy cuisines do that. You know how duck meat is mixed with citrus fruit, with oranges, turkey is mixed with blueberry sauce. So yeah, we Slavs have been doing that for a long time also. Today we will mix dried prunes with chicken meat, which is a classic dish in the arsenal of a skilled babushka chef. It can be prepared with chicken, pork, or even beef, so feel free to use your meat of choice. Today I'll be using chicken. The other very important ingredient is an onion, not one, a lot of onions, or leeks, or why not both. You may ask me, can I add any other type of dried fruit? And I'll be honest, I don't know. We have always prepared it with dried prunes. But we have been adding raisins to our sarmi, as you know from the sarmi video. I wouldn't be surprised if some babushka somewhere uses some other types of fruit, to be honest. The other name of this stew is popska yachnia, which directly translates to monk's stew or priest stew. Maybe because it was prepared for first time in some monastery. By the way, we have a lot of monasteries here on the Balkans and they're quite famous with their cuisines and their nice stews and soups. The monks actually are quite skillful cooks. And a lot of Slavic recipes or Balkan recipes have been developed exactly in these monasteries. But this is a topic for another story. The original version is with very small onions, which are cooked whole, and with beef, but today I'll be showing you a version of mine. The most important thing is to cut the products in big chunks and to use the Slavic spice blend, which we use in almost all of our dishes. And yeah, you may already know, the spices I'm talking about are summer savory and sweet red paprika. With that said, let's see how to prepare it, and we'll be starting with the products as always. You need cry apple heaven, a lot of carrots, some controversial red fruit or vegetable, I don't really know, some retired plums, also called prunes, depending on where you live, sunflower juice, like a lot of it, some chicken meat, you can use whatever chicken meat you want or other meat, starchy white dead of course, a pinch of white dead, just a little bit, some flavors, most importantly socialist pepper, not some not edible stuff which will only assist us. After that you enter secret code for the Slavic sequence for making Slav plum kavarma. Decapitate and start peeling some onions. Prepare handkerchiefs to remove tears eventually. Change angles for dramatic effect as always. Imagine what I'm going through in the name of cinematic value. Stopping to peel, wash hands, move camera, adjust and start again. Yes, as a poor Slav, I have only one camera. Eventually, you end up with a lot of peeled onions. We'll cut them first in halves, after that in crescents or half moons. This cutting method comes naturally to onions and is perfect for stews like that. Typically for all kinds of stews we load the vegetable slice in bigger chunks. I'm not sure why, just to feel the texture of every product I guess. After we finish up the onions, cut the carrots, again group therapy, cut them into big circles. Make sure not to add fingers to the stew. Then we'll need the tomatoes. Just cube them. Fancy chefs remove the seeds, but for Slavs all food is precious and we do not throw anything. So we'll use the whole tomatoes. After that it's time to work on our chicken. Again for stew I prefer big chunks of meat. By the way, this stew goes perfectly with beef, pork and why not even lamb meat. Our preparations are complete, so we can get cooking now. I've set up my working stations with all the things that I will need so it would be easier for me. Turn on your stove to high and add in the sunflower oil. As in most recipes, this would be our first step. Any other type of oil, by the way, should also work. Add a tester chicken piece to check when the oil is hot. When it heats, well, add in your chicken and stir so it gets coated with the oils. Cook for some time until it starts to change its color. We don't need it fully cooked, it will finish up cooking later. Eventually we'll be rewarded with some font and some chicken taste developed. Time to throw in our vegetables at this point so they can cook and bring out their taste. Coat all the veggies in oil too and start browning them. Deglaze with some red wine. If you don't like it, water or some broth would work too. After you deglaze, add in the tomatoes and cook them for some additional time. Add in some black pepper to taste and return our chicken into the mix. Add some water so we can have sauce after that, and add a lot of socialist red pepper. One more sip of wine. I'm not sure why I did this, but yeah, you can add some more wine if you want, if you like the flavor, and add salt to taste. Mix well, add the lid on and leave it to simmer. After some time, add in the dried plums or prunes. I'm not sure how you guys call them where you live. Have a taste test and adjust the seasoning. Leave the plums to cook for some time, they will bring out a very nice sweetness to our dish. After that we will make a slurry out of some flour and water. Important step here is to add the flour to cold water so it won't clump. Use a whisk to ease up the process. Check if everything has cooked well. Well, it appears that mine is soft and cooked, my products, which means we are almost done. Add in our slurry in the middle of the pot and stir really well. It will get thick really quick, so yeah, be careful not to finish up with very thick stew. When it starts acting like a volcano, we're almost done. Lower the temperature and cook for 5 or 6 minutes more. Just to cook the flour, you don't want that flour taste. It should be like cooked for some time. And yeah, our stew is done.
Bonus Slavness.
Bonus round. We'll add a nice addition to our stew. We typically eat this with plain white rice. So add some rice, add water, 3 times the rice. Basically, if you add 100 grams of rice, you add 300 grams of water. This is how I cook it. There may be some other methods of cooking it, but this is the easiest one. I add some star anise, I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, and the holy bay leaf. Cover with a lid and put to a boil. After it starts boiling, just lower the stove to medium, and when the liquid is almost gone, turn off the heat and leave it on the stove. Leave it to rest until all the water has evaporated or it has gone into the rice. And our rice is done. Slav difficulty level, well, I would say 3 out of 5. Just be careful when boiling the rice. A lot of people have problems with boiling rice, I'm not sure why. Also, another important step is thickening the stew. Be careful when mixing, as we don't want raw clumps of flour in the stew. It's not very tasty, trust me. Energy. This is quite a nutritious dish when you add the rice, and it's perfect and fulfilling. It has a lot of veggies and meat. For the portion you see on the screen, the nutritional values are 560 calories, 73 carbs, 36 protein and 9 fats. This dish may be strange for some of you, but combinations of meats and dried fruit is quite common to us. And I think as a whole meats go very well with fruit, so give it a try. Even in ancient Rome, when there were no tomatoes, no beans, no stuff like that, they used to add a lot of dried fruit into their salads and to their dishes. So this may come from them, I'm not sure. The taste is perfectly balanced. The tomatoes give acidity, the plums give sweetness. We have pepper and salt, which are taking their part, of course. Also the rice with the herbs we boiled is a perfect addition. But you can feel free to eat this with potatoes, mashed potatoes, bread, or even as is without a carb source. This was all from me, comrades, and love you next time.